Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 10 Minutes Astrology. Every week, Alejo and I will be here to talking about the basic astrology and to help you to improve your interpretation. Well, before we start, again, commercial time. I'm really sorry, but not sorry. Well, I will let Alejo go first then. Alejo, sounds like you have a very interesting talk coming up soon, right?
Oh, yes. On the 28th of April, I'm going to be giving a talk for the alumni of the Sophia Center. So for this, you need to go to sophia/project.net or Sophia, actually, they call it. I say Sophia, they say Sophia.
Mhm.
And you go to the alumni talks. And I'm going to be talking about gender and astrology. The talk is called Venus, Mars, and Everyone in Between. And it's inspired on the musical Kinky Boots in which they say, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who have not made up your mind yet. So we're going to be talking about gender and astrology, how we read gender in astrology, and I'm going to be bringing some ideas that I haven't shared before yet. So yeah, it's going to be a discussion, a live discussion about it.
Sounds very interesting, especially I love that musical and Kinky Boots, and the movie is fascinating too. But that's true. We are allowed to not make up our mind.
Yes, we are. And we are allowed to
Yeah,
change our minds on the way also.
and the gender is a important thing, so we better address it because, well, for coming up ages, not everyone want to be just be one or another one, and that you can allow to not define yourself as long as
Yeah.
you are happy with that. Anyway, but okay, come back to AOA UK. I want to say it again. So for 26th of April and the 3rd of May, I'm going to teach the astro mapping technique workshop. 26th, we were learning the astrocartography, and then the 3rd of May, we learn in local space. These two talk are donation based. So if you want to join us, come to visit our website and see how you're going to join us. Just donation. No, it doesn't matter how much you donate. Okay. And then on the 7th of June, Christine Skinner going to give a webinar about the midpoint co-planet picture. Well, now come to the important I know you're waiting for, the transiting Pluto in seventh house. Woo! Seventh house is about a partnership, but not just partnership. I still remember when I, as a beginner learning the astrology, people tell me this is the house of a marriage, and that's all.
Um,
Everything people care. And I was like, oh, okay. Then when we learn a little bit more, we know it's the one-to-one relationship. Doesn't matter it's a marriage or not, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's important others, important relationships,
Mm.
especially when it's one-on-one relationships, but in general, any important relationship. And with Pluto, and also I think, in traditional astrology, we have the idea of open enemies.
Yes.
And I think it's so important because
It-
it means that the seventh house is that which we consider other, that we consider different to
mm.
ourselves. But because that's so different to ourselves, it also helps us define who we are.
Wow. I like that. A little bit am I because I'm not expert in psychology, but what are you talking about? It's just a kind of mirroring.
Yeah,
Are we
totally. Yes,
are we
yes.
mirroring? So for example, I hate you so much for no reason. And I would just every time when people mention your name, I would just like how dare you mention his name? I want nothing to do with him, blah 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 blah. And then somehow that has something to do what I want of
Exactly.
you.
With who you are. If we pay attention to the people we admire or to the people we
Hmm.
hate,
Uh-huh.
it will tell us a lot about who we are, what we are. Yes.
Wow, that is so interesting. As Pluto, transiting Pluto, go through that, could that have been emphasized even more?
I think so because this means that the other becomes demonic. The other becomes, it starts expressing all of those things that we don't want to recognize we have. They start expressing it out there. So we meet Pluto, we meet these things that we find nasty, we find scary, we don't like in life. Also, we meet this kind of powerful force that seems to be taking over us. So it
Mm.
could be a moment in which we feel very weak or vulnerable, or the opposite, we may want to react and feel like, ah, no, I'm gonna be the one in charge, I'm gonna be the one
Mm.
with the power. But in general, I would say, yeah, Pluto. First, I would say it's going to unroot, it's going to dig up the
Yeah.
um, the issues in relationships that I may have.
Yeah.
that I may not be wanting to face. So things that I might not have been wanting to face are going to come up to the surface in order
Mm-hmm.
for me to transform, to alchemize this, to change it, to make it flow again, right? But
Mm.
then it could also be that there might be a tendency to project Plutonianness, so project evilness, project power, project destruction, project death onto the
Mm-hmm.
other. So suddenly everything that's wrong is because of the other, it's not because of me. They are destroying
Yeah.
my life. They are affecting me so far, so much.
Yeah. Wow. I think that was sounds like well, in one way, it's pretty scary because for a lot of people, relationship, one-to-one relationship was something quite important for a lot of people in their adulthood, in their life.
It's scary, and I'm thinking my partner is about to have this.
Well, I have to reassure you, I just I've been through it because I have my descendant is Capricorn, and through the Pluto in
Ah,
Capricorn, I was experiencing that journey. Really, really interesting journey, and which is true. Demonic, my partner, demonic, someone I was, hanging out with, dating with, and then also totally through the relationship, I understand who I really are, who I really is, and that was like a kind of a interesting journey to take everything out, and it destroy your fantasy too. Destroy your fantasy through the relationship. Destroy your fantasy about relationship,
yeah.
and then just like a slowly piece by piece to put back, and then you understand what you really are, and then you are more comfortable with yourself. That's my personal experience for last, you know, kind of 15, 16 years when Pluto was in Capricorn. And that is, to be honest, wasn't happy. It wasn't easy in the first 5, 6, 7 years. And then feel a little bit more and more empowered by Pluto, to be honest, as long as
Mm.
you be very honest with yourself, who you are, what do you want in a relationship, and what the relationship mean for you. I think that is kind of a very, very interesting journey. Wasn't pleasant, but an interesting journey. Look, I'm still here.
Yeah, it's like when Pluto first goes into the house, first it shows the more nasty primal side of it, right? And
It
then as it
is.
navigates through the house, we kind of befriend him.
Yeah, yeah, and also it gives power to you as long as you are kind of honest, and you don't have like kind of illusion, because Pluto like to take illusion away. It's kind of a very interesting process. Wow, I wasn't prepared to talk about myself always during this series, but I just say it worth to share with everyone, because maybe for someone, no matter how old you are, how young you are, when Pluto through the seventh house, usually it scare you off. But I'll tell you, I'm still here after Pluto through it's my seventh house. But it was a interesting journey, and the beginning was a little bit unpleasant. Then there's a life struggle, there's a life death situation, there's a kind of project demonize the another person. He's so controlling my life. And anyway, I don't want to go through it again, but it is what it is. Well, thank you, Alejo, for joining me today, talking about the transiting Pluto in the seventh house. And if you want to hear Alejo talking about gender in astrology on 28th of April in Sapphire Center, please go to visit Sapphire Center's website. And if you want to join me for the astro mapping technique from 26th of April and 3rd of May, please come to AOA UK website to register, and it's donation based. Well, next week we are going to talk about more interesting topic, Pluto in the 8th house. See you. Bye bye.